Hi, welcome to the Red Booth Show. On tonight's episode, I have a photographer named Tami Bahat. Her photography is more like painting in a way because she really creates these amazing worlds. So come and join us. So hi, Tami.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, very much. I am very proud to have you on the show because I've just been following what you've been doing and it's been so amazing.
Wow, I appreciate that very much.
Yeah. What was the most recent art show that you have done with your amazing photos?
Well, I actually just showed some of my work at Photo LA, which was a wonderful, wonderful time. It's really fantastic exposure, lots of wonderful artists there.
That's fantastic. How did they get you to be in the art show? Do you start sending things out to the art shows or did they contact you or how does it work?
Usually it's through a gallery, and I happen to be a part of a group called Verge.
Okay.
We're 7 photographers, and we were shown through the Duncan Miller Gallery.
Oh, is that the same group that I came to see you with?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
That's very, very beautiful work there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think it's just very inspiring to be to show work with other artists and to be a part of it,
That must be really cool, actually, because then you sort of have a team, I guess, or people that are kind of rooting with you together.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, when you're out there in the art world and you're kind of a lone wolf, it's just, it's difficult, And when you're with a group and you find your people, it's an amazing feeling. You get inspired off of each other and...
That's so cool. How did you find Verge in the beginning?
Well, actually, they were having an open call looking for a couple new artists, and I just thought, why not just give it a shot and, see what happens.
Which photo did you first send them?
Well, I think I sent a handful of photos, and then I got called in for a second interview, and that was with Daniel Miller, and it was interesting. It went very well. He asked me a lot of tough questions, so... you just have to be very on point with what you're up to, and it worked out, luckily. So.
Well, I wanted to talk to you a bit about how you started getting into photography.
Yeah. Well, I think photography for me is something that I've always been just really passionate about. Even when I was younger, I used to photograph friends' parties and, the normal way that you get into it. Along the way, there were several points where I had... this guy that sort of mentored me that I met in Florida when I was about 13, and he used to send me film, and I would take pictures, send the film back to him, he'd develop it, and send it back to me.
Wow.
So that, just to have, somebody get you going and give you that input that you really need and guide you is just really important.
Wow. That's like back in the day when they used to have those cameras, like those little... you buy the $10 film strips to go in them and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I love film. I think that when I first started, it was definitely something that was just magical. You go into the dark room and you're able to just see this stuff appear. It's really magical.
Wow, so you learned how to do all of that.
Yeah, back in the day, but yeah, it was, now I'm shooting pretty much primarily digitally, but...
Okay, I was just going to ask if you still had a dark room or if you did that.
I wish. There's a practical aspect, I think, to, shooting with, digital cameras where you can see, it's like instant gratification, you see everything right in front of you, so...
Yeah.
It's helpful in that aspect, but I think, there's an argument between what's better, film, digital. I think it's really the vision of the artist and the person who's behind the camera, honestly.
True.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, you have got some of the most amazing pictures.
Oh,
I mean, there's a reason that she's become so notable, and it's like, I don't know how you first started coming up with these concepts. Okay, so what was the first Tami Bahat style photo shoot that you did?
Well, it was really funny because I really started out kind of shooting weddings, and it was draining the life from me a bit, right? And so I had to find something that was really creative simultaneously going on, and so I basically started shooting these crazy portraits, and most of them were my family, my friends.
Your father, right?
My father. Yeah. I shot with my father, and luckily I have a very artistic family, so they're all game pretty much. My mom was a little like hesitant, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is like really, she's like, I never liked Halloween. Even as a kid, I never liked to dress up. And I'm like, trust me, mother, like, you'll love this. Like, it'll be great. Don't worry. So, yeah, I just, there's something about showing the vulnerability and that side of people. I've always had such a love for people. So
I think it's really beautiful because for your photos really show a certain side of human nature, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
We should show some of them. What would be some good examples that we should show people?
We could start with After Hours.
Okay.
This one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that one, we actually started shooting. It was past, it was very, very late at night, probably past 11. And I just had this vision. A lot of the time what happens is I want to work with somebody. I'll look at them, look at their photos, get to know them, and then something will just spark. And I can't get it out of my head. I just have to go along with it and try it out and see if it works.
Wow.
So this was one of those things. It was actually,
and this one is your husband, right?
That's a picture of my husband, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And, that one, a lot of people tell me they just really connect to. So that's a special one for me since, it is my husband. And
yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you were doing this picture with him, did you do all this makeup yourself? Like, do you do all that part too?
I would say generally speaking I do. On the very last shoot I did, I had somebody come in and help because I did so many models one after the other.
Wow. But
everything else aside from that, I have done all the makeup and sometimes even the lighting. It's just dependent upon, it's difficult, but I think it gives you the most control sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, you created, I know the first one I remember was the one with your father. Yeah. Which one would you like us to show?
Let's see. There's one of him laughing. It's called Renaissance Man.
Let's introduce your book.
Okay.
So Tami has this amazing book that she has published with several of her photo series. Yeah. And we're just going to talk about some of them that's in here.
Alrighty. So this one in particular, that's my niece.
I thought so.
Yeah, she has just been my muse from day one. She even, like, from tiny girl, she was always this very deep soul, that just old soul. And she's so captivating. I couldn't help but just work with her.
She reminds me of you a
lot.
Really? Yeah, she does.
Well, that's a huge compliment because I think she's just amazing. She's so stunning.
She is. She definitely is.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love this picture. And didn't this picture get some special notice, some special recognition?
This one, yes, I think so. Also, the After Hours was in Black and White magazine as the Spotlight Award winner.
Wow.
Yeah,
amazing.
This one has definitely made its way. Actually, just sold this one in Paris recently.
For how much?
I'm
You're allowed
not
to
going to
say?
say that. A girl doesn't talk about prices.
No. That's so cool, though.
Yeah. No, it was really special, actually. There was a man who bought it, and he actually contacted me, and he just... It was so wonderful. He told me that it was coming with him to Switzerland. Wow. And just wonderful guy. So that was really special. I love to connect with people that, buy the work and you can get some feedback, which is lovely.
So your artwork is really just spreading all over the world, man.
Well, I definitely, that's the goal, that's the hope. And I'd say bottom line is that it just connects with people. You know?
Well, it definitely does. It makes a really emotional impact.
Thank you.
How did you first start getting into professionally doing photography?
I think it just happened by mere experimentation. I wasn't getting paid for this kind of work. I just wanted to see what kind of things I could create. And I think when you don't have certain pressures, you're just able to express yourself and try new things, and you're like, well, if it fails, it fails, no big deal. Right. But you can just kind of jump out there and see what happens with it. So
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some more of these pictures.
Alrighty. This one here, I actually collaborated with a wonderful artist named Chelsea Bayouth. And she just, she makes the most amazing masks. She's based out of Los Angeles. And I told her, you know, she and I have the same aesthetic artistically. And I told her I just want these masks to be expressive and their eyes to just say something. And I think she went above and beyond. I mean, they move me so much. So
it's beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, she's wonderful. Like, incredible. There's also here, this one is called Arboreal. And,
whoa.
I don't know, I guess because I've always sort of felt like I was on the outside of things. And, I don't know, the masks to me sort of just talk about how, you know, it's just find your own people, find your own group, even when you're an outcast, you know. Something special about that.
Wow.
And we just went out and I tried to capture something that magically connected, you know, with nature and the masks. And I think about the vulnerability and how we're all sort of different in different ways. And I don't know, I think finding our own people, sort of, you know, and expressing ourselves different ways.
That's so beautiful. I can see why you're getting picked up in all these amazing art shows and things, because you really are sort of like communicating through the photos like something very special, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that is just the most important thing to me. Honestly, if nothing else, that's what I want to leave behind, I guess you'd say. Everybody sort of wants to leave something, and I've always loved people, so I want to definitely connect to them.
That's wonderful. And I saw that recent one that you did with the man. He was sort of like a man, like walking.
Oh, with the head, or which one?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there's this photograph where actually this friend of mine that was a former dancer, and he's all
like muscly and
yeah. Yeah. So you know, he actually wanted to collaborate with me. He contacted me, and I loved that, and I was like,
wow.
Yeah. But I didn't want to do the shoot until I knew kind of what it was that I wanted to express. And one day it hit me, and I thought, you know, he has to be holding his own head. Of course.
Why not, right?
I mean, come on. So it just hit me, and I could not get that out of my head. So I kind of approached him, and I didn't know how he would take it or what he would say, but he was just completely game, and he said, you know, I trust your vision. If you see it, then
it's amazing.
We'll go for it.
It looks so cool. Thanks. Did you put that in this book too, or is that?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, okay. What did you
see.
call the photo?
That one, well, there's...
Wow. Respite. Wow.
Respite. And it's basically, that is his own head. We made a mold of his own head.
Wow.
And, you know, like, Photoshop is all good, but there's something about it that I just wanted to have it there. And I'll tell you something, just a couple of the shoots that I've done lately, it's just so beautiful. Even while I'm doing it, it's just being a part of it and seeing this art sort of happening and in motion. It's incredible. It's almost like, I don't know, it's another world.
You are creating another world. That's the thing that's really interesting to me, because I remember when I was a kid, I didn't think of photography as an art at all. I just thought, oh, you're just, you know, taking a picture of something that's there, and you know, but you're really sort of taking it to this whole new level and creating these environments and these things, and it's not about looking perfect and looking, you know, pretty and like, you know, which is what we see so much of, like, all over. You're about showing the realness.
I'm so glad you said that, because I do really celebrate the imperfections. I think that they're the things that make us who we are and make us unique. And there is a lot of work out there that's just kind of pretty, and that's fine, and it's aesthetic and it's beautiful, but I think I've always just been really emotional, and so creating these kind of, you know, just celebrating, I guess, how we're different, and sometimes we're alienated and we're not perfect.
Well, I have to say kudos to you for doing that, because
Thanks.
there is so much pressure on beauty and perfection, and especially
Yes.
here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And for you to go out and take these images of people and to sort of show them as people,
Yeah.
but also in such a very entertaining way.
Yeah.
I think it's just amazing what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. I think showing the humanity is, it's so much of what I try to do. It's just the human aspects of, who we are and why we do things.
So what are you going to do next? Do you have a plan for your next?
Oh man, I do. I have many plans. I've actually been shooting a reflection series.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's...
So with like lots of mirrors and things?
No, it's actually in water
Oh.
and on water.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I've got that going, and also that also talks about how women see themselves and how they perceive themselves, and that's really important to me,
It's really interesting that you mentioned that, because it happens to be National Women's History Month.
Yes.
Which
yes.
is so cool. Yes.
Yes.
That's
Let's
right.
celebrate.
That's
Let's,
right.
I mean, that's right. Yeah. I mean, we love men, but I think there's a lot to be celebrated in women, and I think, just to show who we are and, that we can...
Well, the thing is that I think in our society, women are sort of mostly looked at for how they are on the outside.
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
so we all are always concerned about that, and there's
Yes.
all this stuff. But there's so much that we actually can do and inspire and create, and you're showing that, right, by doing this, which is so fantastic and wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, there's actually this growing movement on the red carpet that I've heard of, Ask Them More. I think it's Ask Them More, and...
Ask them more than more who made their dress.
Exactly. And so, yeah, at the last big event, they were actually getting asked questions about their roles, and, a lot of the times, I think the men won't get asked about their family life and how it affects their careers, and anyway, it's a whole other story, but I think there's a lot of issues that women can bring to the table, and a lot of wonderful and new perspectives on things.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to your new Reflections series.
Thanks.
And I'm sure you'll be touring Europe and doing all sorts of amazing things soon.
Well, let's hope, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. And so you guys can definitely check her out and go to her website at TamiBahatPhotography.com and get one of your own copies of this amazing book, Tami Bahat Chapters. So,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
So I have to say that Tami is actually an old friend from when I was very little. We used to go to school together, and we used to hang out. And I remember I used to come over to your house,
Yeah.
and your whole family would speak Hebrew,
Yeah.
which I thought was really, really interesting. And then I would talk to you guys about your religious background, and obviously you're a Jewish family as well.
Yeah.
And when you guys came here, I think you did, your family moved here from Israel when you were little, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was actually born in Israel, came to Los Angeles when I was 2, and I came from a very artistic family.
That's for sure.
So, I mean, I couldn't escape it, It was just in me from day one.
Yeah, they're amazing. Your parents are, I think
Yeah.
that's, part of what is so amazing to see people who are artistic like you, who have parents like your parents who are just so fun and
Oh, man.
they're so encouraging.
Yeah.
So
I think I really lucked out in that department. School was rough for me, really rough, but my parents, they just always supported me, and they wanted me to find my way and my path, and just the sweetest people. I mean, my mother, she was a dancer, and my father is an artist, so...
it's amazing.
Yeah, I think just the little things of, my father would take me to bookstores and, tell me stories, because my father's 80. And
Wow.
so, yeah, he lived a lot of life. And so, he would tell me stories about my grandparents in Israel and, first moving there. So it was definitely a really, really important part of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool because obviously, I'm a mother, and I think it's so important for people to remember how much, what they say with their children and how they expose their children to things, like how much it's going to affect them when they get a little older and start, finding out what they're going to do, and to be really open and allow people to do different things,
Yeah. And my father, he used to take me to bookstores, and that was our thing. And he would expose me to music, like Ella Fitzgerald, and then I found Nina Simone, and
love them.
Oh man, the best and most soulful women, and it was really due to my father, just kind of here, listen to this, or check this book out, or poetry. I'm inspired by so many different things. When people ask me, who are your inspirations for different things, and it's not only photographers. I love Caravaggio. I love, Pablo Neruda. I think where we get inspiration from our ancestors, it's so important to just, look and take from so many different places.
It's so cool to talk to you, because I think that one of the things that I've noticed about you all the time is that you're constantly inspired by everything around you.
I am.
If you follow her on social media, it's like this kind of story. She's like, you find awe in just the little things, I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. I think that life is made up of the small things and the details,
It's true.
Yeah, it's noticing those little things that maybe other people don't notice, and talking to the people that maybe nobody wants to talk to. You learn a lot about different parts of life,
Yeah, well, you do. You actually go and help with the homeless shelters and things, don't you?
Yeah. I have a volunteer group, and we try to do something every month, and go out, and we do things like feeding the homeless, or clothing drive, sometimes with orphanages.
Wow.
I don't know. I think that we're here for a reason, and if everybody tried to leave the world a little bit better than when they got here, it would just kind of be a magical place.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I highly commend you for all of that, and I think it's really cool, and I hope lots of people also decide to start doing something to help with that as well.
It's not difficult. I know a lot of people have the urge to, they really want to, and they don't know where to get started. But you can always contact me, or Compassion Club on Facebook.
Compassion Club. All right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So there's this amazing Martha Graham quote. She was a choreographer. You can read it there.
Why don't you read it?
I'll read it here.
Okay.
Okay, so this quote is actually just one of my favorite things that has gotten me through some tough times. It says, "There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action, and there is only one of you in all time. This expression is unique, and if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open." So
wow.
I think instead of doubting ourselves so much, which artists do, I think it's important to just keep going and keep creating. I
totally love that. Very, very true. It's true though, because so many artists, they don't put their art out because they're too worried that it's not good enough yet, or they're not ready. Man. And you just got to do it.
Exactly. Just got to do it. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
I love that quote. Thank you so much for sharing it.
You're welcome.
Well, keep up the amazing work.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I'll be, looking forward to your new photos and hoping that lots of people get to find all this fantastic photography.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching photographer Tami Bahat on
The Red Booth.